はい。
ようこそバックボンバーマンの世界へ。ではお願いします。
はい、はい、奏者のスピンスです。カテゴリーは120枚カードっていう、今書いてある通り左のボールドカードを120枚集めるカテゴリーとなっていますので、早速始めていきたいと思います。
ありがとうございます。というわけで、はい、ここからですね、ワクワクから、タイマースタートなので、じゃあ3カウントでやっていきましょう。はい、ではいきます。3、2、1、スタート。はい、というわけで、はい、ここから、まず最初ですね、2回リセットから開始します。で、このリセットによって最初の。
Alright, friends, as you can see, it has already started. This is Bomberman 64, 120 cards on the N64. Our runner's name is Spins, and we have a couple of fantastic commentators who are going to be in here in just a moment. Just one moment, my friends.
シリウス君が出てきます。はい、こちらですね、ボンバーマンですね、いろいろとサポートしてくれる、すごいいい人なので。
All right, Slucky, ZELLLOOO, you want to introduce yourselves? The run is in progress.
Oh, sweet. Wow, that was fast. All right, hello.
It was fast.
My name's Slucky.
I'm ZELLLOOO.
And this is Bomberman 64. So I have a little bit of history speedrunning this game. It's been a little while, so I'm hoping to see some of the route changes, some of the things they've updated in the past couple of years. How about you, Zell?
I am not a runner of this game, but I have watched Lively do many runs of this over the years, and I have some general knowledge of the game. It's a really neat run, especially this category. So to just go over what 120 cards is real quick, we have the gold collectible cards. You need all 100 in the main 5 worlds to access the last bonus world, and then we're going to collect all 20 in those. So this is kind of 100%, but not actually, because we do have a real 100% category that would normally get all the costume pieces as well. We're just going to be focusing only on the cards here. So we start with Green Garden, not only because it's just the first world, but because it's also a great way to stock up on our bomb and blast radius capacity early on. And Green Garden was actually very interesting to start with, because normally you don't normally need a whole lot of mechanics to finish this game, but in order to access the bonus content, you actually need a lot of knowledge about like bomb jumps and a lot of mechanics that are intended but not required. So we're actually going to a whole bunch of secret areas like this area here in inside Green Garden 1, where you actually need to use a bunch of bomb staircases in order to reach these bonus areas. You want to talk a little bit about that and how to set those up?
Yeah, so pretty much this entire game, there's a couple glitches, but the majority of the skips and sequence breaks are all built around bomb jumps. So essentially, whenever Bomberman lands on a bomb or has a bomb land on him, it'll cause him to bounce, and you can use that to build stairs and ladders basically up to places you wouldn't normally get to, because there's no jump button in the game. Another thing you'll notice as we're going through these stages is he's intentionally killing enemies. One of the 5 gold cards you need for every stage that's not a boss is an enemy killed stage. So after you kill 30 enemies, 1 card will drop and you'll pick it up.
Yeah, so there's a 30 enemy card, there's a time card that you get by completing the level under a certain target time, and then the remaining 3 cards you find in the stage. Now you'll notice on that first visit, we only got 3 of the 5 cards, and we're actually going to get the other 2 in the same visit. I believe this is intended, normally if you try and just exit a level, any cards that you collected, you lose, but we're going to actually be able to keep 2 cards without actually taking the exit by doing the exit stage option and then collecting them during the fade out right here. So we're going to get the remaining card that's in this room as well as the other card that we still need. We're going to pick those up basically at the same time. Yeah, Spins, being a very talented runner of this game, knows exactly how enemies like to spawn and the tendencies, and just we can farm them up as quickly as possible because we still need that 30 enemies card.
You may see him, I know some runners do this, but you may see him flicker the pause screen every once in a while because it does have the amount of enemies you've killed so far on that screen. It is pretty important that you do not miss it because if for whatever reason the 30th enemy either falls into the void or if you kill him off screen and don't pick up the card, you do have to kill either 30 more enemies or start the level over again. So it's that count is really important.
We did also pick up power bombs while in that room. The power bombs, they do increase your blast radius if they're not already at max, but they also do more damage, and they also allow us to break blocks that we normally wouldn't be able to. So you'll see this in a few levels where we can pick it up.
でもうそろそろ敵を倒して足りてないのであともう
Those pauses go by so fast. Spins is just locked in right now.
判定があったりとかしますのでそちらもしっかりと取っていくという形になります。
It's funny because it seems counterintuitive, but it's actually really important that you do not miss that 30 count because it's literally run over if you miss the 30.
Yeah, Spins recently just got like a 102 in this category just a couple days ago, which is an incredible time. Like this category has been pushed quite a bit in the last couple of years. Really, this and 100% had improvements by several runners.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I've been a little bit of out of the loop, so it's been it'll be kind of cool to see some of the new route changes and see what they've picked up on the past couple of years.
Okay, so we're gonna pick up this. Here's the fade out right here. We're gonna pick up both cards right as we're fading out, and that allows us to keep them, even though we're not supposed to be able to. So that saves us needing to actually get to the exit, which is really nice.
That is new. I have not seen that.
Right. So every odd level in each world is an exploration stage, and then every even stage is a boss fight of some kind. So this first boss fight we just have against Sirius, it's kind of a tutorial fight. The thing about these stages is that we have to pick up all 5 cards at the same time. You cannot get one in one pass and then everything else in other passes. We want to get everything in one pass anyways. So the conditions for the fights are pretty simple for those that are humanoids. You need to, I believe, catch them in a pumped up bomb explosion, toss a bomb on their head, defeat them within the target time, defeat them by draining all of their HP instead of just throwing them into the water, and then the 5th card is specific to each boss, and I believe for Sirius it's just kicking a bomb into him. So very simple fight for Spins right there.
Yeah,
Sirius is kind of like that first mini boss where you can kind of accidentally get all 5 cards in like a normal playthrough.
You know, as a kid, I hated this enemy that just drops the gem everywhere in this level.
Oh yeah, he's a real jerk.
So one thing we didn't also mention earlier is that we are also picking up remote bombs, which you can detonate at any time. This is obviously very useful for many reasons, especially since we can use this to set up bomb staircases without the fear of our bombs exploding, a lot less risk of blowing ourselves up, and just being able to control the bomb explosions as needed, because you actually have quite a bit of flexibility with how you do bomb explosions. You can kick the bombs, you can throw them, you can actually stop the bombs mid-kick, which is not a feature a lot of people think about when they first play this game. So there's a lot of really neat little tech in terms of just controlling your bomb explosions.
It also is going to help a lot for hitting that 30 enemy kill mark. So, for example, this stage for a very long time was done in 2 passes. I think Spins are going to be going for the 1 cycle here. Looks like it with all the enemies he's been killing. And you'll notice we'll see how he does it in the next area, depending on his enemy routing. But you can kind of abuse how the level low chunks and loads his enemies in, and you can kind of stand in some areas to spawn enemies and kick bombs, and then immediately blow them up to get more kills towards it.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting because in 100% there are many revisits because the target times because we actually play 100% on hard mode to get the remaining costume pieces because they're not available in normal mode. So 100% has a lot of revisits. This actually being the only level that doesn't have a revisit due to a glitch that we're not going to see here. But in 120 cards, as Spins is doing, there are a lot less revisits because the target time is lenient enough to where we can get everything we need just barely in 1 pass.
This is crazy fast, by the way.
Yeah, 77 getting into this is like ridiculously good.
アメリカ版の64が一番速いという風な
It also took me a long time to figure out how to pump up bombs, so I was never able to get past this door for a long time.
まあそういう風な形で結構いろんなところで遊ばれてるゲームですね。で、そのうちの今回やってる120枚、集める
I couldn't beat the dragon as a kid.
そうしたがめちゃ
Oh, fair. Bosses in this game are actually quite difficult for the first time you fight them.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you do runs, they just troll you. So nobody wins.
はい、っていう風な形で結構奏者がいるんですが、こちらですね、まあ多分10人くらいになります。で、そのうちですね、
I believe we're just missing the 30 card and the time card.
なんと今横に座ってるスピンスさん
I
が
think we're on good pace right here, even with that missed pumped up bomb. But as you can see, like, mistakes can be really costly just because, like, the time it takes to, like, set up a bomb throw again, it does take some time.
64とちょっとバーチャルコンソールで分かれてはいるんですけれども、その累計でちょっと6位で
Looks like we're okay.
22分ということで、
As long as we did get our
時間
30.
の壁というのを理解していただければと思います。はい、
Yeah, plenty of time to spare there.
Well ahead of the time limit. Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, so some of the other ones, like, some of the other ones will not be as lenient. I was rewatching Spins' current record, and Blue Resort 3 just barely cuts it. So we have the Draco fight here. He's a jerk. You have experience with him being a jerk. Why don't you talk about him?
So a little bit more experience than any percent where he's far more of a jerk, but basically what we're going to begin doing is burning his head, his wings, 1 for 1 card each, and then his tail. And he can do one of 3 attacks. He's either going to do flamethrower, he's either going to stand above and then try to grab you with his mouth, or he's going to do this move right here. And the big thing with this boss is, obviously, as you can tell, him diving under is really good in this one, so you need him to do it. And if he just doesn't do it, then you just lose time. So this boss is literally just whether you get that was really fast.
That fight was ridiculously good. Like, especially getting all 3 cards at the same time for the remaining pieces.
Yeah.
はい。ね、漢字2文字言ったら乱数。
Yeah, it's never a time limit problem in the boss fights, but like actually getting the other cards first without killing the boss is actually a big concern with how low the boss's HP can be, because Drake only has three hearts in normal mode.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you will get to a point where you've hit him once in the head, or like maybe once in the head and the wing, and then you just need to wait until he dies. You can't really do much else.
時間制限時間以内に先ほど
Alright, we're into Blue Resort, my favorite world in the game, aside from maybe Rainbow Palace. Definitely has like the best music.
さらにルートも難しいっていう形で、はい、こちらですね、できてからですね、結構
So we will actually be doing 2 trips here. We're going to be doing most of the cards in 1 pass, and then we're going to get the time card on the 2nd pass, basically doing the any percent route, because this is a very, very short level if you take optimal strats, but since we need to get other stuff, we're going to do a little bit of farming and get remote bombs now.
上に行きます。で、ここで敵をガンガン倒して、はい、前にボムをキックして、魚を倒して、ここの魚も倒して、ここの池のところの魚を倒す、ね、魚ばっかり。
Yeah, recurrent theme of Bomberman games is that Bomberman does not do well in water, so we would normally be lowering these, we would be raising these gates and making these canals accessible, but we're not going to do too much of that. I think we're gonna raise 1 gate, but we're gonna leave the other alone, because it takes a lot of time to watch those cutscenes. It takes like probably 10 seconds or so.
なかなか早いんじゃないですか。
早いですね。
はい。
Something I'm noticing about spins in general as a Bomberman 64 speedrunner is,
違うだけでもかなり
so for the most part, most people, how they route things and play things kind of looks similar, but obviously when you watch speedruns, there's a thing called like skill expression where you can watch someone play and it's like they have some signature things they do that maybe someone else doesn't do. Spins, I've noticed, has a tendency to not want to turn his camera pretty much ever.
というわけでこの瞬間ワンサイクル
I find that really interesting.
ような形になりますのでですね。
一歩ロスです。
I've seen a lot of other runners, they'll turn their camera a lot to get the good angle to see exactly what they're doing, and he kind of just like works with whatever his camera's at.
That is interesting, especially like with how laggy this game can be. It's not as laggy as the other Bomberman games, but sometimes lag reduction can be good, but you just may want to just have a more comfortable angle to work with and just deal with the lag.
実はですね、斜めに行ける通路も結構たくさんあったりとか、あとこういう風に
This is a cool little bomb jump right here. We just get right over the fence and into the canal.
ここで、フルパワーを
Pick up power bombs. So the power bombs will save a little time because we can actually blow open the door where the switch to lower the exit bridge is. We don't need to go drop the gate that would drain the water out of this canal. So it saves a little bit of time that way.
帽子かぶったザガードというんですけども、その敵が一発で倒せます。で、ここでザガードを倒すことによって、はい、30枚目が獲得。
Yeah, we're just barely missing time. So you can see the time in the top left right there has changed from yellow to red. So that's your indicator that you miss out on time card. So we just really don't have enough time to get the time card on the first pass. But like I said, this is a very short level, so the revisit will be very quick. We can just go straight into this area.
That is so close, though.
Yeah, just a handful of seconds.
Yeah, I gotta imagine in runs, you'd probably go for that.
I imagine a task could probably do it.
あそこのダンスすごい。で、もう記録狙いだったらここでもうリセットとなります。
8 seconds? That's gotta be RTA viable.
で、これですね。
Maybe.
ワンサイクル失敗すると、はい、一旦戻ってまた入って、で、ただこちらのステージですね、結構ゴールが近いんですよ。
So like I said, we're going to do the 80% strat right here. As you saw, the switch to lower the bridge was inside this building right here. We don't need power bombs to get in. Using just a very careful bomb jump, we can just staircase jump right up there.
これ100が1秒です。
Yeah, don't blink at the short level.
意味がわかんないですけど、100が1秒。
Touching the switch at 14.
なんで
Very good.
14秒で、はい、こちら、確か FPS が60でしたっけ、このゲーム。
60だったと思います。
なので、まあ14点。
It is scary how consistent top runners are at these bomb jump tricks.
I didn't mention this earlier, but one thing that you can kind of keep your eye out for is there are some setups that we do use from runner to runner. Sometimes people try to set up without doing anything, but there is setups where if you like rub on a wall or something like that, and you're at the right distance from the wall, as long as you have that distance, you're good to go. So maybe I'll try to point some of those out as they come up.
そうですね。はい、というわけでやっていきます。
ちょっと何言ってるか聞こえない。
Alright, this Artemis fight is going to last longer than 80%, but not by much.
空に浮かんで、でそしてなんか。
So we're going to drop a bomb right on top of her to get two at once, if I remember right.
そうすることによって危ない。はい。
Pumped up bomb explosion gets 3. So on normal mode, if you get hit when you have a heart, then you do you survive and the heart bounce around. You could collect it, but that's not going to be important for the next one. That was a very fast fight. Yeah, 15 seconds.
That was really clean.
Yeah, like the Artemis fight, no matter which category you do, it goes by quick because in 80% you just throw her straight into the water. But here, you have to do a little bit more card collecting, but it doesn't take long.
Yeah, with Spin's playing kind of clowning on Artemis there.
その2になりますので、決まったらぜひ大きな拍手をお願いします。
Alright, so this is going to be a really tight time card to get right here. We can do everything in one pass. Spins is probably going to go for the one cycle here. You just have barely enough time to get all of the enemies that you need, all 30 enemies, and grab the 3 cards and leave, thanks to a very major skip that we'll be doing a variation of. So we're actually doing a death here to reset the room, because we're going to grab enemies. Using this death warp to reset the room just lets more enemies spawn, and we can just barely optimize our time. It's pretty tight here.
Yeah, as far as deaths go and how they're tracked in this game, so you get 3 deaths and then you'll hit a continue, and then if you do 3 continues, you get what is essentially
a power down.
Well, it takes you back to the title screen.
Yeah.
So if you haven't, you basically have to get all the way back into your save.
Yeah, and then you'd also have to power back up since you lose all your bomb power-ups. So hopefully that shouldn't happen. If we end up past 3 game overs, then we don't know what else to talk about.
Yeah. So that's the kind of thing you can kind of watch on. One of the things you can watch on when you open the pause screen is you'll see a count. I think he's at 1 life left.
Yeah, 1 extra right now. One other nice optimal strat is being able to stun enemies and then just throw them off the edge or into the water, because that still counts as a kill, and it saves you on having to, especially on those like riflemen that take several bombs to kill, just throwing them in the water is a much faster way to deal with them.
Yeah, you can abuse the water as well with just throwing bombs in them, because the moment they touch the surface, they explode, so you actually don't need to trigger explosions or wait for a timer.
Oh, that pump bomb I think missed the enemy in the water, so this is going to be really tight to hit. It actually looks like we're just going to exit in 1 try right here. So we're not
I have not seen that setup before.
Oh, okay. We might actually be going for it here. It's going to be tight. I think that I think 120 is the timer here. So that is the 30 enemies card. So the exit is actually always loaded here. Oh, we're just barely missing it. Oh,
Yeah, you want the feet right on the edge of where that hole starts.
まあまあしゃあない
一個一個の動きで、はい。というわけで
Yeah, so a couple things to... Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so like what you're normally supposed to do to like to finish this level is you lower all the water gates and drain the water out, and then you can use pumped up bombs to push a wall into place that puts a staircase up, and that's the exit. But the exit trigger is always actually loaded, so if you can use some really tricky bomb jumps, you can actually get up there and complete the level really quickly.
形ですが、今回間に合ってないのでちゃんとクリアをします。
Yeah, there's surprisingly quite a few ways to climb this little fountain. Spins is using the clip method with a setup I have actually not seen before. I assume he'll do it again. Oh, you can line up on the tree there. Okay. And he's doing a setup kicking a bomb. All right, cool. Yeah, and like right here, I was talking about like standing in certain positions away to make the jumps, stuff like that. You can kind of see all the little setups. And there's quite a few of them right there, so it's kind of cool to watch someone do it that cleanly.
Yeah, a good backup. It looks like we missed a gold card initially anyway, so we were going to have to go back because we picked up both the time card and one other card. But still good. Like I said, it's a tough one cycle to get. Alright, so the fish fight right here has the 4 gold cards. We need to destroy like the tentacle spike on his head. We need to destroy the tail. We need to pop a bomb into his mouth. And then there's an attack where that will start destroying pieces of our raft. We have to get down to exactly 1 log left on this raft in order to get the last gold card. And then obviously defeat it within the time limit. So there's quite a bit of complexity here as far as what we need to do.
There's some important things too. So for example, the knocker in front of his face that you do need to destroy for a card, you have to do it after you put a bomb in his mouth, because he can't get a bomb in his mouth if you can't slam him down.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, you have the order is important right there, because otherwise you're locked out of the card if you destroy it too early. Oh, the tail was also missed too. We're gonna have to wait another cycle to get that one.
Yeah.
It's a very finicky hitbox, and
これはもうしゃあないんでまあ
Fishes.
さあちゃ
A
んとやって
good way to be described as finicky hitbox.
it feels like most of the bosses in this game, to be honest.
Yeah, some of them are better than others. Dragon's actually not too bad, surprisingly.
I just think Harvester and the memories come flooding back of, oh my god, please hit.
Harvester does whatever he wants.
Alright, this is the last attack that we need right here. So this cutter will just destroy the other piece of the raft. We just have to push against the wave to not get swept off. And then one last bomb, and we'll finish the fight just fine.
Yeah, it looks scary, but this is pretty safe actually, because based on the position where you get the log cut, he always pulls back up in the same exact position. So if you throw the bomb, you'll perfectly hit one of his eyes, which is one of the weak points.
ここからさらに難易度が上がっていきますので、ぜひお楽しみください。
And that's Blue Resort down. 2 worlds down, 2 to go until we hit the final normal world.
Coming up on Red Mountain, from a 120 cards perspective, this world is actually really, really cool.
Yeah, these in particular, you can go straight to the exits on both the exploration levels, but there's a lot to explore and there's a lot to do because there are some passages where you need power bombs. So the routing is just in a very specific way to farm enemies, get the cards, get the power bombs to get to areas you need to. And of course, not getting blasted by fireballs going through these these walkways, because that's a very real possibility with how the cycles are set up.
Yeah, this level in particular, we're going to get those red bombs and remote bombs as early as possible to abuse some furnaces there in this level and the 3rd level.
倒せる
Oh, that was unfortunate. Just barely tapped the explosion.
I believe that was a death warp? I could be wrong.
It may be. I don't remember. I was trying to review this run. I guess it was a death warp. So we are down to just 0 extra lives. So I guess that works out. I was like very, very quickly trying to review this run right before this, and I'm still trying to keep track of all the differences between this and 100%.
Yeah, no worries. You will notice, though, that brings his life count to 0. So if he's going to do more death warps, he'll need to game over before he does more. Because if you hit a continue without having any lives, it restarts you restarts the level essentially.
Yeah, you're kicked back to the world select, so you lose all your progress in that level.
So this is the furnace area I was talking about earlier. These are really good, as you can see, for enemy kills, because you get 3 per enemy, 1 per the original and 2 for the ones that pop up. So he's going to abuse this to skyrocket his kill count very, very quickly.
Yeah, with power bombs they die in 1 hit, so very, very quickly. We just get on out.
And those doors that to get in those rooms are only accessible with red bombs.
Alright, 30 enemy card taken care of. I think there's 1 card left.
Yeah, I don't think I remember the time limit on this stage, to be honest.
I don't think this one's that tight. I think Red Mountain 3 is a little bit tight with how we're going to do it, but Spin should be fine.
Yeah, Red 3 is a long level. I think there is 1 more card. I think it's at the top here.
ちょっと怖いけど。
ここに最後の3つ目のゴールドカードがありまして、そのまま下に降りる。
Yep, the exit's right here. Just gotta flip the 3 switches and get the bridge down.
ちょっと気をつけないと。
ちょっと怖いんで
安定を取って。はい。ここ怖いんで。
Remember for the longest time, I was talking about skill expression earlier. It is very, very close on whether doing the switches from right to left or left to right is faster. So for a long time, it was always the thing of like, do you switches left or right, or do you switches right to left?
Oh yeah, that target time was only 14k, so just a few seconds to spare there, so very clean.
I like hearing the runners say it was a little scary.
ボンバーマンが夜んですけれども、それを食らわないといけないんですよ。
Time for probably my favorite boss design wise.
まあただ普通に食らったらやばいので。
I just had nightmares of getting hit by the shield.
Yeah. So basically, the AI, this entire boss's strategy is he's going to run up, knock you out, and throw you over the side of the arena. But because of that, his AI is pretty abusable.
Yeah, and you did actually have to get hit by the shield once because that does count as a gold card. Also, those red flames when he's dying can kill you. This is a very mean trap for first-time players, or if you're just trying to take a drink and not paying attention where you are. No problem for Spins though. Don't worry, we'll see Orion a little bit later in this world. He has a score to settle with us when we get to the boss fight in this world.
I was expecting a self-death here to reset lives, but I guess he's not going to death warp in this level? A little surprised. I figure you'd need death warps to hit the timer. Basically, what I'm trying to get at is if you see him start a level and immediately take a death to get a game over, he's resetting his lives counter to use death warps again.
That card always terrifies me.
Yeah, it's really easy to miss.
Yeah, it's just like the barrel up top is just barely positioned to where if you're not sitting on the edge of the walkway, the card's just gonna fall right into the lava and you have to reset the level.
Yeah, you'll notice it got knocked out there. If you do any bomb jump where it's a bomb jumping off of another bomb, it'll concuss you. You'll need to like rotate your joystick or press A really quick to get out of being concussed.
It is abusable as well, because when you leave a stun animation, you do have a few invincibility frames, and you can abuse that sometimes to detonate the bombs at a good time. This is some really good farming. Like, those are some tight explosions. We're just like barely cutting the corners on dodging these explosions. I cannot believe Spins has not blown themselves up.
Yeah, the furnace is really impressive. You'll see like some other areas like right here where since you do the same pattern every time, it's a little bit easier to not get hit by the bomb despite the fact he's close to it because you're kind of used to how big the radius is. Inside the furnace, it's way more impressive because the movement of enemies is random, so you can practice as much as you want, but it's never going to be the same 2 times. So that improv is really impressive.
こちらなんかトロッコで走ってくるんですが、このトロッコに乗ってる方は
Alright, this is the last room in the level before we hit the exit. Thankfully with power bombs we can destroy these minecarts instantly as they're coming up behind us, so that helps take care of a few enemies on our counter.
こえます。いいですね、こんな感じで。はい。で、ため
And pumped up power bomb is enough to get all 4 pieces right here. We don't have to do the hard strat of jumping to the edge. Because that's a very scary 80% strat that thankfully we can avoid. It looks like we're just barely going to catch it right here.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, great one cycle. Oh, I thought it was 14k. So 15k, there's actually a decent amount of wiggle room, but we are missing one card, it looks like, so we're going to go back for it.
Yeah, I'm curious which one he didn't get yet. I'm really glad you don't have to get all 5 cards in one playthrough. I think it makes it more interesting from like a game design perspective.
Yeah, I'm not even sure how you would design the levels if you intended it that way, especially in hard mode where the time limits were reduced.
Yeah.
That would be... So somebody make a hard, like a different mod of this game and just make it really hard where you have to get all 5 cards that way.
Yeah, I mean, if you balanced it and playtested it right, that actually sounds really interesting. Yeah, this is the one gold card we missed.
Yeah, we'll probably set up the exit glitch again.
This makes sense, actually. Because if you have to do 2 passes anyway, you might as well try to do an optimal route as humanly possible.
Oh, very nice.
Yep. So I believe, don't quote me on this, part of the reason why that works is when a gold card hits a wall, it has a preset rotation of which direction it's going to go. So the fact that he was standing on the left side of it as it was going north with him, he knew it was going to go towards him afterwards.
That sounds about right. Alright, so for the Hades fight, we've got the gold cards here. We need to knock out each fist. We have to destroy the top cone. And then we actually also need to throw a bomb inside of the robot. We need to do that by bouncing a pumped up bomb on top of the head, which opens the cockpit for just a bit.
I have been running this game on and off for 10 years. I did not know you could dodge the fists. I've never seen anyone do that.
You know, learn something new every day.
That fight was ridiculously fast.
Yeah, that was very fast.
I think that was like optimal luck and everything. Like, beautiful to see that just taken down so quickly.
I'm gonna be completely honest, I'm stunlocked right now. I did not know you could dodge those fists.
ハウトが沈んだというわけで、涙なしには見られないハウト戦でした。
What is this stylish outfit this runner is wearing?
はい、ホワイトアイスになって
So, that's a spoiler. We'll find out later.
Alright, alright. Everybody stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned for a later area to see why he's wearing that. I believe that's what that is, right, Zol?
It should be. You mean the later area that a strategy guide said didn't actually exist because they didn't get 100 gold cards in their playthrough?
Correct. It's also the worst boss in the game.
Oh, what a fight that is. But we'll get to that. We got White Glacier to handle first. So this is the last of the main worlds, and this first screen right here actually has some wind currents pushing you every once in a while, so it's actually very tough to manage enemy kills in this screen, but we're going to do that anyways because I guess we're gonna farm a little bit later. Like normally we'd be farming on those snowboarders that pop out of the houses.
Yeah, White Mountain in general can be a lot more challenging to get kills. So for example, this first area, remote bombs are either not accessible or they're accessible way later. So getting to them takes longer, and most of the enemies here actually require 2 hits to kill, unless you have red bombs, which I don't think are in the stage at all. So
No,
white one's a little tricky.
So. Yeah. So it looks like we're actually just going to go for the time card first, and then we'll go for every other card and use the exit glitch to finish out. Because this is a pretty far out of the way exit, being several screens away from the start. And we're probably going to need to do a full pass through the level to get all the cards. So we just need one normal card and then the enemy's card.
さっきのレッドマウンテンのステージ3とここのダブル、ホワイトアイスのステージ1。
あとブルーリゾートもさ。
Yeah, you'll notice it's. I think it's pretty interesting that you can kind of like. So this stage in general is basically a giant circle where you start on one side of the circle, and the end is on the other side of the circle. So pretty much what he did there is he went up one route, and went up one way, and then now he's going to go up the other way and get whatever he needs to get on that side. Because of the houses and how they spawn snowboard men, that's probably going to be our best way to farm enemies. And you may see him after getting remote bombs literally just stand in front of the lodge and blow people up. We'll see if he does that strat.
本当探すの大変ですよ。
そうですね、全然いないですよね。だって、イモンの上の数見てください。
Oh, there's our
Oh, there's
power
my
bomb.
bombs.
これで2体ですからね。
2体ですからね、ようやく。あ、ウサギがそこにいる。珍しい。
ちょっと邪魔ですね。
やばい
Yeah,
ですね。
looks like we are gonna see that strat, by the way.
ウサギが邪魔ですね。
The rabbit here is really unfortunate. He can get rid of it, but he's got to wait for the weather to get better.
邪魔なのでそっち行っていただいて。
おう
It's also a little scary because the power bombs are actually able to destroy the houses, but we don't want to destroy the house until we farmed enough enemies. So we're just going to stand in a very specific spot. The wind's not going to be able to push us from there. We can just kind of stand against the tree and brace against it. And we can just snipe the snowboarders as they're coming out.
倒すというふうなちょっと悪逆非道なことをやっておりますが、まあ数が数
Yeah, luckily these snowboarders are one of the few enemies that trigger bomb explosions by touching them. Basically, they have an active hitbox around them.
そうついでにですね、まあなんでこういうような感じでボンバーマンが戦ってるかというふうなあらすじをまだ言ってませんでした。はい、ごめんなさい。ですね、アルタイルというふうな敵がいまして、まあそういうとこですね、コズミッ
It's also interesting that we're just barely far enough away to where an enemy can spawn at the very far edge of the screen over there.
でそれをですね、
So Spins is occasionally going for those shots and then scrolling the screen up and spawning another one.
はい、なの
So I think we're at 27 so far, so we just need just a couple more.
おりますので、まあそこら辺の活動も大事ですね。
ここで30体調整。
Yep, we're right at 29. So we're gonna wait for this wind to pass and then we're gonna move on and get the last card we need.
ここで30体倒して、こちらですね、カードキーを持って、はい、一旦カードキーをいい感じのところで、
I was gonna say, how is he gonna set this one up with the wind and everything?
That I don't remember. But it's also very like convenient that you can throw the cards and carry them as needed.
セーフよかったですね。はい。
Nice. That was good.
こんな感じで2枚取得ができました。はい。そして出てきたのが闇の吐息。
Alright, Regulus fight. I don't remember what his special card is. Is it kicking a bomb into him for this one?
It's interrupting his little charge technique, which he'll probably do right at the start, I would imagine.
ほら。
Yeah, here we go.
あーこれちょっと
Yeah, he's gonna combo that with the big bomb explosion as well. He needs to catch him in one of those big bombs.
Yes.
ちょっと突っ込んでもらいましょう。
あれ？
Oh, Regulus is not
ダ
cooperating.
メですね。ダメですね。やっぱこいつ
He always feels like
Normally
the
he's-
most random of like the little like humanoid bosses.
ボムを持ってたりとか
Yeah.
強そうな感じがするんですけど、なんで持ってないんですか
Yeah,
ね。
he's definitely not cooperating. So he needs to catch him in this big bomb blast.
あ、OK ですね。
OK です。
There we go.
There we go. Yeah, and now we just need to just knock his HP to 0 and we're good.
倒すだけ。
OK
OK です。
There we go.
はい。というわけで
So a bit of a rough on the RNG, but that's just how it goes with this game.
まあさすがセブンエレメンタルナイトの闇の吐息
This is probably the easiest quick kill in any percent.
そうかっこいい2つの名前ですね。時空の7騎士って書いてセブンエレメン
Which
タ
I
ル。
just realized there's none of in this category.
はいというわけでじゃあ次のところですね。はい氷の床というわ
I
けで。
mean, we'll kind of see that on the first phase of Altair.
はいなんと
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh, that was so close. Almost went right off the edge. Yeah. So the gimmick of this level is the slipping, sliding floors, and the camera angle changes, and it's very easy to just end up right off the edge, and you just fall to your death. So
はいまあというわけでですねまあこれですね
This
まあシリウス
stage will also kind of bring back one of the other things I've talked about, getting up to 30 enemies. Since enemies have a habit of literally just walking off the edge here, getting to the 30th card is really scary. Because if you're in an area where enemies are known to just fall off,
なんとここにシリウスがいるので
it can waste a lot of time.
Same with that gold card right there.
速攻します
So we're actually gonna do a cool trick. We're actually building momentum and speed. We're kind of tricking the game. The game thinks we're basically at the top and we're still building speed. So when we finally get off of Sirius here, the game's gonna use all that stored momentum, and we can use that to get up to the switch from here.
でそしてこちらの方でいけそうですかね
Oh, very nice.
チャレンジをします
あー今のちょっとミスったかもしれないですね。
The snowman's in a bad spot
や
though.
ってみます。
はいというわけでバッファーをしつつ位置調整をしますね
ちょっと慎重にやらせてください。
はい OK ですはいというわけでここからですね
Trying to figure out what he's setting up here.
正確に8方向を入れることによって、はい、技をするという風な形になって、はい、で投げる、蹴る、蹴るで、そのまま前に出る。で、こちらですね、本当に8方向、ちょっとずれただけで別
Oh, is this the time stop glitch?
It could possibly be. We didn't do it in Green Garden 3, but we might do it in this category here. So the time stop glitch, it does exactly what it says on the tin. It would stop the timer, and we'd be able to get whatever else we need. It doesn't look like it happened. So with the timer stopped, but you still would maintain control, and you'd be able to complete all your objectives while still keeping the timer right where it's at, and you can get the time card with no problem.
変わらないです。
はいらしいので実は使う必要がないです。
しかもこれ
Yeah, I assume to get it, you pretty much have to hit the trigger while not hitting the ground.
ここで撃破数稼ぎます。
Bomberman's programming is
30稼いで
far easier to understand, I think, because for the most part, things that happen kind of just make sense based on how the programming is.
かしこまりました。
Yeah,
というわけで
it's-
はいですね
I wasn't familiar with that method because in Green Garden 3 and 100%, you would actually take damage at the same time, and you would actually die, quote unquote die. You would still maintain control and still stay alive while stopping the timer, but it looks like there's a different method here that I wasn't aware of.
おりますのでそこで倒していくことになります。で、ペンギンですね、可愛いですね。
So since we've already
ペンギン倒します
killed a whole bunch of enemies, we might as well just go ahead and finish out the 30 enemies card, complete everything else, and then we'll do another pass of the level to get the time card.
雪だるまスノーマンなんですけれども、それを所定の位置に投げることによって今ですね、撃破の音が鳴ってないんですよ。
今なります。
はい、ここで鳴るんですよ。あれ？あ、そうですね。これですね。
Yeah, because of the ice physics, depending on how you
見ながら移動すると自分で気負うという風な形になります。
slide and kick bombs, you can get yourself unconscious kicking a bomb. It's kind of funny to
It's
watch.
silly.
なんか知らないんですけど、リスポーンがあそこなんですね。なので
A little farming here at the end.
セーブした時が火山の上で、ね、リスポーンしたらすぐ火山で倒れるみたいな。
Yeah, without remote bombs, it's a little tricky to kill everything. We still need another 9 enemies, it looks
今
like.
見ましたか？なんかちらっと見えたと思うんですけど。
And
Yeah,
I'm
we
always
just got there,
terrified
by the
that...
way.
Yeah, I am also terrified. Yeah, that's what I'm terrified of. Like, the 30th enemy will just go off the edge on its own and be like, uh-oh.
バグ？
バグですね。はい
仕様かもしれないですね。
仕様ですかねこれ。
あ、でも出てきましたね。
Yep, the snowman on the back.
It looks like we'll be okay because it's just a bunch of penguins that we can kill.
I'm going to assume he kind of knows when it's going to spawn in, because it kind of does it in the same area, and you do actually have some control over how enemies spawn in based on where you walk and how your camera angle is. So I'm gonna assume he's actually using that intentionally to get more kills.
Now, our enemy spawns, like, you can control when they spawn, but is the type randomized when you spawn them in, or is it a little more static?
That is a great question. So, for the most part, we know when I was running the game, we kind of knew in general where you could walk to load areas to load enemies in. But for the most part, yeah, types of enemies was fairly randomized. We do know like certain enemies spawn in certain areas, for example. So like, you won't see snowmen in places where they don't spawn. Like that's one enemy that's kind of specific to certain spots.
で、あとこれよく見ると今夕焼けじゃないですか。これボタンを押すことによってこの後の背景
We do know there is definitely a way to consistently control AI for the most part, as far as the spawn-ins. Just because if you ever watch a task of this game, which I absolutely recommend you should.
今の
Passes of this game are amazing. Like, really just the whole Bomberman series. Like, all 3 of, like, the main games, this, Second Attack, and Hero, they all make really cool runs.
知らなかった。
And they all have, like, very unique things about them, so you can pick and choose.
ペンギン、このペンギンマジで怖いんですよ。
This penguin right here is always in the way when you're doing an 80% run. So, he probably has a nickname. I don't know if anyone's given him one, but he's good if he doesn't.
今ですね、残機がゼロなので
He's in the way every single time.
I just want to think it's the same penguin we like to throw off the edge in Super Mario 64, and he's back for revenge.
Yeah, that's actually really funny.
はい。
We're talking about the penguin though. That was so
実
good.
はですね、この立派戦はですね、
Oh, that's great.
Everybody's like, "Oh, this penguin."
Yeah, it's a common theme among the runners. We all just like that specific penguin. So this is Mantis.
ホワイトアイスですらもう雪山の中
He
で
is very interesting as far as the gold cards go. If you want to give us a little lore on that.
I can remember the 2 claws and the mask. I can't remember what the fourth one is off the top of my head. I think it's like the very bottom spike.
I believe you get the fourth one for free just with the ice going down. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, okay.
Him starting this animation is what triggers it.
And already did before it hits the floor. So, great fight.
There's a little weird RNG where he has the so most enemies like boss
That camera angle, sorry, that camera angle.
No, it's all good. Most bosses in this game have a chance to do different attacks. Mantis is the most lopsided for some reason. So he has several attacks he'll do, and then very rarely he'll do an attack where he jumps on the wall. And can usually waste time, but in 20 cards sometimes gains time. So with the first 4 stages done, we're now into Black Fortress to collect our last 20 cards before we go to endgame. This stage difficulty ramps up quite a bit, and the stages are quite a bit longer.
This is the stage that made sure roads were clear instead of playing in traffic.
Yeah.
Because the cars come on cycles, but you normally have to do a lot of maneuvering back and forth. Thankfully, with some clever bomb jumping, we can kind of just cross these gaps and just kind of minimize the amount of time we spend.
Yeah, it looks scary, but it's actually very consistent as long as you pay attention to the traffic. It's always small car, then big car, small car, then big car, and alternate sides. And it's mirrored for if you're on the left side of the road or the right side of the road. So you just switch which side he's on. So the car should spawn on the left side this time. You'll see a small left here. Oh, it's big left, then the small right. It's just the opposite.
So that should be all 3 of our normal cards here. So all we need is the time card and the 30 enemies card. We're actually going to farm at the very end because there's a kind of pseudo mini-boss fight at the end of this where we need to destroy an enemy generator. So this is a good place to farm up here, especially since we're not going to be doing one of the any percent glitches.
Part of the reason why the different categories in this game are kind of a treat is a lot of these mini bosses and kind of like side objectives you skip at any percent, and you do pretty much all of them in 120 cards for the most part. そこ普通に歩くとですね、シリウスがですね、ありがたい話をですねしてくれるんですよ。約20秒くらい。
校長先生みたいな話でしたね。
そうですね。はい。立って寝てる感じで聞くんですけれども、まあそちらを今短縮しております。で、
Yeah, like Slucky was saying, this is such a huge ramp up in difficulty because like if you get too close, you normally get targeted by a whole bunch of things all at once.
Yeah,
there's a specific spot where you can stand in the back where the machine gun won't target you, the side cannons, if they do target you, I think you're actually out of range. So now it's just a game of he's probably watching the one red dot right above the dragon icon and trying to blow up the bomb right around there. Because if it goes past that point and blows it up, he'll blow up the mini boss and the enemy generator will go away. Part of the scary thing here, he needs to pick up the gold card before he defeats the mini boss, because when you transition the elevator, like the stage back up, the gold card can disappear. So he's gonna be a little bit careful about that.
Yeah, all items in this game do run on timers, and they will disappear if that timer runs out, so just have to be very mindful of where that last enemy is. So it looks like we just have a couple more enemies to kill.
はい、で、これで30枚獲得です。
今ちょっと危なかったですね。2体同時に倒したんですけど、僕
That is terrifying. I can't believe. Okay.
Okay, it barely spins right into him. It spins right into spins.
はい、1周で5枚獲得になります。はい、というわけで残りですね、ブラックシティ通常ステージ1とボスステージが2で。
Yeah, as we said, the levels get longer. This is a very long level, even in a run, so it's good to just get that in one pass.
ほぼほぼ自己ベ、まあもしくは、自己ベを超える。
So it looks like we're gonna go back here, and I'm assuming we're grabbing another heart.
ハート取って安定取ろうと思ったんですけど、まあいいや、ここで
Yeah, it sounds like they want another heart. So like we said, the heart is used to just bounce off one. You can soak one hit. You can also pick it up in normal mode if you manage to catch it again. So just very handy to have.
はい。あ、待って。
あれ
Or we can just reset our lives too at the same time.
Oh, that's probably what we're doing. I didn't think about that. Is that where mythical card? I'm not sure which one it is.
No, we got everything on the first pass. But it was definitely funny. I guess we'll go here to Glacier 1 and we'll get our heart here.
Yeah, okay, this makes more sense.
Because I think we can get it from a rabbit if I remember right.
Yep. This is typically where you'll get your... I think this is the fastest way to get a heart, just from the overall world screen.
Yeah, several enemies in this game will always spawn hearts like this, the butterflies in Blue Resort, and it's just nice to know your options. Because the Harvester fight coming up here is, it is a thing.
Yeah, having a heart here is very nice. Typically you don't have any percent. So I believe we've gotten a heart and we've resetted our death count. So we'll definitely be using death warping and trap tower. So this one you have to blow up his nose beak thing, his 2 arms, and I forget what the last one is.
Yeah, I think it's the gravity core attack. You need to destroy that with a bomb.
That's
so
right.
it's this right here.
Yeah, so he has some really cool attacks where like that gravity core he throws out, it'll make you move slower and kick bombs slower. So it's kind of like you have to hit it pretty much immediately. And some of his attacks that he fires out are very, very slow and can overlap with other things because of that, like the lasers he throws out. And we'll see if he even uses it, but he has a homing missile attack that is considered by far his scariest attack. But he's getting very good RNG here.
That was very good luck. Yeah, this boss can just dodge and dodge and dodge, and thankfully did not do that. Cooperated very well. We were able to get the cards. It's actually very difficult to hit the cannons and the nose beak without doing too much damage and killing him prematurely. So a very good fight, finishing at a 47.
Going to Trap Tower, I believe even with the world after this, this is technically the longest level in the game.
心配してくれるのかもしれないですね。
やっぱ素晴らしいですね。
一応補足なんです
It's definitely one of the coolest levels.
なんですけど、本当にあそこ事故る
Like it's a whole bunch of like really neat little puzzle rooms just stacked back to back.
なので安定取らせていただ
Trap Tower as like a penultimate level is in like a normal run is it definitely feels like it.
今回たまたま運が良かった。
And even in the completion categories right here, there's a lot of very neat little things that you have to do to get to a lot of these areas. Like you have to definitely have mastery of like how to bomb jump and set up bomb jumps on the fly.
Here's the cool thing too. You'll notice the red bombs were up there on the wall. All this bomb jumping and like getting up into places you think you're not supposed to be, it's actually intentional.
Yeah, like even when you finish the game for the first time, like you watch the credit sequence, the credit sequence actually like shows like clips of the game being played, and they do actually teach you how to bomb jump in a couple spots. So these are intended mechanics. They're just
so
not required to finish the game like normally.
Yeah.
位置調整をして3段ボムタワーが絶対決まるようにやってはいるんですが
Sorry, you were saying, Slucky?
Oh, I was just gonna point out a setup for a bomb jump.
Oh yeah.
I'll try to point out another one. Yeah. So like for this room example, the red arrows, like the one you see right here, as you're walking up towards the north side of the stage, you want the edge of your shadow directly splitting that arrow in half as you're walking up north, and that sets you up on the stairs for where you want your bomb. If you do that, you'll hit it every time.
はい、というわけでこんな感じで決まったやり方で敵を倒すと大体決まった撃破数になるので
So yeah, ton of floors, and in between each floor there's like a platform section, so you have like, I think it's like 6 floors and 6 sub-floors off the top of my head.
ここ自力ボムジャンプで乗っけるで
So it's a very large level.
ところからゴールドカードが出ます
Yeah, big puzzle on the right to go and grab a gold card, but you could just skip it with bomb jumps. Normally you're supposed to like hit like this security thing and go through all the steps, but you could just jump over the wall. Another setup right on this crack, and they'll bomb jump from there.
It's also kind of nice we skip the security puzzle because that thing has a very loud alarm.
Yeah,
At least
it's
to my
awful.
ears.
でボムを投げたらボムを置くこんな感じの手順でできるので慣れたら結構いろんな場所で決まります。はいというわけで、もうそろそろ、ステージも終盤戦。
Yeah, this is kind of like the subfloor I'm talking about because the floor that's below it, technically, if you were to fall and there is a floor there, you would be still alive. You wouldn't die on the
多分
subfloors.
自分今までやっててあれ見たことがないくらいの
We're on the last floor. I think we only need 2 kills for the enemy kill, and I think we're good on time because I think the limit is like 20k here. So
Yeah.
we're doing good on time.
なりますので、敵波数30にするように
残り2体ですね。
いいです
ここの上のやつ倒したら終わりです。
OK です。はい。というわけで30でそのままあと
Alright, we should be able to just exit from here.
タイムに関しては
Bunch of
Very good
floors we
tower.
haven't seen yet, but we will have to go back to do, I believe. Or is that just for
というわけで
100%?
1周目ですね。これで4枚集ま
I
り
don't
ま
know.
す。
Did we get all the gold cards?
はい、
Looks like we need to get 1.
22
Missing the one.
という形ですね、今。で、もう一回ですね、アルタイルタワーに入りまして、
I'm curious if
もう一回の場所がですね、これ
normally in like an attempt you can do a very tight one cycle here, or if splitting this
多
is
分こ
intentional.
れ120枚というよりもレインボーパレスなんだそのステージ聞いたことないな。
Yeah, so here's the alarm right here. Whenever you step on those red panels.
確か
そうですよ。
アルタイル倒したらおしまいですよね。
隠しステージなんないですからね。
うん、そうですね。はい。というわけで
It's funny, as a Doom 64 runner, I still find that flash more distracting than most other things with rapid flashing.
わからないという風な感じになってきますので、はい。
Yeah, you see he split the arrow right there, so he's directly cutting that mill in half with the edge of his
こ
shadow.
っちでですね、
That allows him to get that bomb jump. That's kind of like what I was talking about earlier.
これうまく謎
There's a lot of visual cues to perfectly set up bomb jumps. Usually rubbing against walls is like the pristine way to do it. But
本当に上手い人はこの位置取りがすごい上
gonna
手
be
い。
going slightly different direction, this time up the tower to get to an area we haven't
真ん
seen
中の
yet.
方を安全に走っているんですけれども、まあそれでタイムの短縮とかが結構
Yeah, it would just take too long to
覚えゲーです。まず
get everything else and still make the time card, so it's good to just save this for its own trip, because it's a pretty far away out of the way.
いい感じになりますね。で、こちらの
Yeah, this is what I was getting at earlier. Is some of these sub levels you kind of like you don't really think about it, but you can get to them just by walking off the edge. This entire area is really cool because of that.
で、このマップにですね、一番最後の、ゴールドカードがあるというわけでめちゃくちゃ遠いんですね。はい、位置を調整して、ここからですね、2
Yeah, I think he just manipulated that blue guy to spawn and die, and he's trying to manipulate AI spawns here for specific
なんか
enemies.
飛べなかったり
Oh no, never mind.
タイミングがずれた
Yeah,
り
I got the gold card. I'm
こ
wrong.
こだけ気をつけるって感じですね。はい、というわけで、ゴールドカードが全部揃
Alright,
いま
picked
した
up. So all that's left in the main stuff is the final boss here. This is Altair. So Altair actually has 2 forms, and we get the gold card from the first form by just defeating it within a specific time limit. So we're actually going to see the 80% strat at first, which is really funny. I'm just going to let it speak for itself.
アルタイルを一番最初落とすんですけれども、その時にベガにダ
But
メージ
phase 2 is when the fight really ramps up,
を
and
いかずに
it can be a little tricky to get the cards off of that in a casual play.
大体30
There is some very slight RNG here, but this is typically extremely
30
consistent.
秒ですね。
30秒早くなるとい
2%
う
は30秒早く
そう
なりますね。
えぐいですね。はい、というわけで、危な、落ちました。
Yeah,
Off
so
it goes.
yeah, the big worry there is technically you can kind of manipulate
これ
Altair's movement,
ゴール
and even if you don't quite get the kick to have him bounce off, you can still pick him up. The scary part is his buddy. If he goes straight left, he can sometimes laser you to interrupt you trying to get the quick kill. But it's pretty rare.
進化した。い
Almost happened there.
私したなんかすごい物騒なこと言ってた。
や、聞こえない聞こえない。
Alright, with that, the timer resets, so pretty much all the typical gold cards of a boss fight apply. So we get the pumped up bomb, we get the bounce off the head, kill by 0 HP, and then get the time card. But Altair can be pretty annoying because he likes to teleport around and waste time.
アルタイルですね、結構ビビリでです
Yeah,
ね。
this boss was interesting because any percent, it's kind of a joke. And 120 cards and 100%, he is like an actual legitimate kind of final
あと
boss.
タメボムがあったそうなん
Can be very challenging to get all the gold cards here just because of how his AI works. It's kind of a pain.
で、タメボム食らわせる。で、あとは時
Should be good from here because we were able to get the bounce off the head card. So now we just need to just kill him. And we have plenty of time to do it.
Yeah, his AI is programmed that as long as it's not interrupting a different animation, he will teleport away from any bomb throw.
いい感じですね。はい、というわけで、
いやー
So getting that hit can be tricky. You kind of have to do it while he's doing something else.
よかった。 覚えておけ。
Aside from some bad RNG at the start, that was a good fight.
よかったですね。はい、というわけで、
All right, so normally this would be the end of the game, but we have all 100 gold cards. So
Yeah,
we're
we
gonna
get to
a bit
actually
of a special cutscene here.
we get to actually talk about plot. So the plot of the game was that Altair and crew came with the Omni Cube, and they wanted to suck up all the energy of Planet Bomber. So we had this buddy Sirius who had a bone to pick with him. Well, it turns out Sirius was a bad guy too, and so he's gonna take the Omni Cube and just blow Altair to smithereens.
Yeah, this is a very anime-esque cutscene where he just gets annihilated. It's pretty insane.
And now Sirius is just like, yeah, thanks for being useful. Now you're useless. I'm gonna just go ahead and take over everything with the Omni Cube. So we're gonna go to Rainbow Palace and we're gonna stop him.
まさかシリウスが真のラスボスだった
So if you manage to get this far, then you definitely have good mastery over bomb jump mechanics. And even then, you will probably still struggle with these levels casually because these are some tough puzzle levels.
Yeah, this is basically like the gloves are off. We're no longer hinting and having secrets in bomb areas. You are now required to have knowledge of bomb jumping to beat these stages. It's really cool, like a really cool step up.
And not only that, we still do have 20 gold cards to collect in this world, so we're going to be doing a lot of other stuff. So we're going to go, looks like we're going to get the time card first to get that out of the way. And then we still need to get our 3 cards to find and 30 enemies for this level. And we're going to be able to do that thanks to some nice tucked away remote bombs on the other screen.
ゴールドカードを全部集めるという風な作業になりますので、タイム以外の4枚を集めます。で、
But as you can see, the time limit for this level was only 10,000, so it's definitely not enough time to be able to get everything. Even with this level only being 2 screens long, it's just not enough time to do it reliably.
Yeah, very specific bomb setup there, by the way. You're gonna see a lot of that, especially in this stage, where you need to be standing in very specific spots to set up these bomb jumps. Also gonna probably see some new types of bomb jumps. Most of the ones we've been seeing so far are kind of like stand in a spot, drop a bomb, and then throw a bomb and try to like knock ourselves unconscious. We'll stare that way. We might see some floating bomb setup now that we have remote bombs.
ハートが、リモコンが出るかなんですけど、さっき10個全部壊してリモコン出なかったという風なことがありまして、初めてでしたね、本当に。
そうですね。それだと入場し直しなんで、ここのエリア。
そう。で、このエリアですね、タイムは止まってるんですが、長いんですよ。
I find it funny how tense Rainbow Palace is when you get to this point in the run, but it's like the most soothing music in the entire game.
Soothing music, and this first stage is actually pretty straightforward. Like some of the gold cards can be a little tricky to get, but it ends up slowing down quite a bit going for these gold cards.
It's like a really nice game design though. If you're doing a lot more like stressful, involved mechanics, and they're like, and here's some chill music. Don't worry.
I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, here we go. Here's one of the more intensive bomb jumps I was talking about. So we're gonna start seeing more complex stuff like that.
Yeah, you just get it to just barely tap on the edge and just have it bounce, and you get just enough height to be able to clear these gaps that way. Like the creativity in setting up these setups is just incredible, and it's just evolved over the years.
We're gonna see another one right here to try to skip doing the whole segment to get to the end here.
こんな感じで、ちょうどですね、爆弾の影が重なるかどうか。
So there's a very specific spot where you can try to pick up a bomb while you have a bomb underneath you, and it'll cause the bomb to leave your hand and start bouncing. So we abuse that to get these setups for these pretty much like automatic jumping staircases.
はい。というわけで、
Whatever you wanna call.
これができるかどうかで、ここのステージのタイムは本当にね、速くなったりとか、あとは楽になったりとかするので、逆に
Yeah, luckily for the most part, enemy spawns are pretty generous in this stage in particular.
Yeah, this and the
actually
next level are
stage
pretty
as well.
good.
多分できないと思いますね。
You kind of just walk to different parts of this very small island and it'll spawn a bunch of card enemies.
普通の方が難しいです。
はい。普通の方がはるかに難しいので。
Yeah, we'll also get power bombs in the next exploration level, so even though they have a little bit more health, it's not a problem to deal with them. They die in one hit.
そう、これボムジャンプができないとこの上の。
I think one of the interesting things of Rain Palace, and you'll see this into the third stage as well after the mini boss, is these stages are not very large volume-wise. but they're jam packed with all the stuff that you have to do. So it's kind of cool for a design concept.
ためボムと小ボムをちゃんとあそこに置くというのが一番難しい。
All right, we are coming up on what I believe to be, and many other speedrunners believe to be the worst boss.
はいというわけで
As far as like difficulty, he is a pain in the butt.
Yeah, even casually, it's a struggle.
Also, here's the big reveal of why he's wearing his
そうですねはい。
his hat,
The cosplay,
and,
yeah.
mask. Yeah.
まずここでですねデビルガチャというのが始まります。
Yeah, Spellmaker has quite a bit to do. Now, you do get one gold card for free, and that's about the one freebie you'll get. I think we have to destroy the cape, we have to drop a bomb in the shadow hand. I do not remember what the fourth card is, if it's just destroying something else.
色は似てるけど違います。
はい。
Yeah, so he's got this card system. Something else to note, we don't have remote bombs. Sirius is no longer on our side, so he's not coming to drop remote bombs anymore. So you have to do this fight entirely with normal bombs, which makes it far more difficult.
しかも、その時に記録が出ました。ここでロスしてなかったら、
So he's waiting for a specific card.
Either, yeah.
Yeah.
7じゃないですか。
当たったやった。
Okay, there's
There we
the
go.
shadow hand, so that's the one we want for one of the cards there. So now we can start dealing with the cape.
というわけで、はいこちらですねまあデビルが終わったので次はですねマントと
燃えました。
思いましたいいですね。
Oh, very nice. Managed to get both remaining cards in one swipe, so now we just need to deal with them. But Spellcaster has a lot of HP. Like, I think we started the fight with 5 hearts in normal.
7回で喜ぶのがおかしいんですけども1回がいいので
And like Slucky said, since we don't have remote bombs, it's tricky to maneuver them into your shots.
どうなのかと言ったら
The good news is his hitbox is actually his shadow. So even though like you just saw it right there, he jumped over the bomb. He still took damage there.
いいですね。
OK ですね。
で最後にでかいこれはでかい
Oh, we still have to sit through this attack,
いや出ない。
even though he has 0 HP.
はい
ただのチームでしたね。
はいというわけで
Yeah, boss fights won't end until the scripted attack is done, so we just had to kind of sit through that. But we got through it in one shot. Spins did a great job handling.
いい位置になりますね。
Yeah, that was actually very good. With that specific set of RNG.
途中にこれ秘境大物
All right, one stage and one boss left, and we're done with the game.
秘境大物です秘境大物って書かれて
今日
ます。
大物だった。
秘境大物ビッグ
So
モノ
this is Rainbow Palace 3. It all is contained in this one room, which is pretty
という
cool.
わけで、まあこちらもですね1回のサイクルで全部のゴールドカードを集めていきます。で、
Yeah, so the exit is tied to just these 4 switches that are in the corners, and they are up on the tops of these pillars, and you don't really have a whole lot of room, so you have to know how to set up all your bomb jumps of every kind in very tight spaces.
構図から出てくる可能性あるんでね。
確かに
We'll also be able to get the enemy card in this area too, just because, as Slucky said earlier, there's a lot of really close by enemy spawns, and you can just kind of maneuver around the room to respawn enemies quickly. So this goes by really quickly.
Yeah, very large abuse of enemy loading will happen here. There's a diagonal bomb jump going into a corner. Probably one of the very few times you'll see that, actually.
We've also got power bombs now, so the card enemies will die in 2 hits max.
Yeah, you'll notice there's different colors for enemies. Most of the times it doesn't matter, but there's a couple different enemies, like this purple one, that is only in this stage that drops red bombs, and then there's another enemy that will typically drop hearts. I assume it's the card of hearts that drops hearts. Yeah, this one up here, the red one.
動きをしております。
今右上のクローバーナイトだったかな。出現させたいですよね。なかなか出現しなかったです今。
It's really funny how you can make the penultimate level for like the whole game in a bonus world just one room and still be as challenging it as is, because actually getting up into these pillars is quite difficult.
たまにですね。
Yeah.
こういうルートがあるよとかこういうチャートがあるよとかなんかたまに上げてる人がいるゲームですので、実はなんかアップデートがたまに。
I also like how this stage, completing it is very reminiscent of the very, very first stage in Green Garden 1. Is you have to hit 4 switches to hit 4 little green lights.
I'm sure that was a very intentional design choice, and I think that's a cool callback. Especially since Green Garden 1 is definitely the one stage in the main game that has the most secrets and most exploring to do.
なので、レインボーパレスとかやりたい方は今日のこの動画を見ていただいてこうやればいいんだっていう風な時間とか一気にですね全部集めるとかではないんですけれども一個一個集めるだけだったらそんなに難しくはないの
So
で
it could be one more bomb jump and then, oh, actually, there's probably 2 more. I lied.
I think this is the last switch, but we
Oh,
do
no, it is last one.
time cards. I don't think there are any cards outside on normal mode, so we just need the enemy card, I think. And we've got plenty of time to do that.
優しいんですよね。はい。
これで30枚です
そう。30枚ですね。
There we go.
次にシリウスってエニーパーセントのこと最後なんて言うんで
All
すか
that's left is fighting Sirius as our final boss. And that'll be in the game.
もう
Yeah, this will be our final boss. Will be pretty close to the S-Man, actually.
なんとかしようって。
This is a very good run, by the way.
失望したって言うんで
It's
すね
been very solid.
はい。というわけで、はい、最後のところです。
So like Altair, this is a two-phase fight. We need to finish phase 1 in a fast time to get the first gold card, and then we will start phase 2 and get the remaining 4 cards off of that.
ファイナルバトル。さあ、スタートです。
いけるか。
お、いける
So yeah, phase 1 is like the opening cutscene boss that like
1回目はですね、落として
if you've never gotten to Rainbow Palace, this was me as a kid.
で真ん中で
Basically, never getting to Rainbow Palace and always seeing that as like, oh, the blue grate looks kind of cool. I wonder why they only have that in the opening. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. So this is,
Lure right over.
Yeah, that's a quick kill you can do on this.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, we don't need to reduce his HP to 0 for phase 1. We just need him off the stage and just let him die, and we'll get the first card. So the remaining cards we're gonna have a pumped up bomb explosion, bomb off the top of the head. But the fourth card is interesting because we actually need Regulus to live to get that card. So we need to make sure he doesn't throw himself into the range of our explosions while we're dealing with Sirius.
Yeah, Sirius can be kind of a dum-dum, and we do need him alive. So hopefully, yeah, he's, as you can see, the heart from Sirius just went into Altair, so I think he regained some health there. Sirius, what are you doing?
Regulus, what are you doing, man?
Or Regulus, other way around.
I think he's already taken like 4 hits. This is actually quite bad because like we do need him alive in order to get this. I don't remember how much HP he has. It's a lot, but it's a little scary. And he really wants to help. He's throwing bombs and throwing us away.
I think Regulus is on Sirius' side.
Like hearing the runners be like, stop, stop, stop.
I think we might try and take an intentional death right here.
Yeah, I think we have to restart.
Yeah, because I think Regulus ran out of HP. We actually need to We need to reset the second phase.
So
for full reference,
incredible.
This should have been underestimated. He got really, really unlucky here.
I don't even think I've ever seen that happen in a run where Regulus just dies, just tried to throw as hard as possible.
This is something we always talk about as being a possibility that happens. It's like, oh yeah, Regulus gonna have bad RNG here. That's the prime example of what can happen.
Just incredible.
という風な謎の条件があって、こういう風に彼はですね、同じところですね、往復するんですよ。あ、いい感じ。
It doesn't help that the laser beam lasts for a jillion years, and Regulus just also wants to throw, like, set down bombs while in the laser and blowing himself up 2 to 3 times.
Stands in it, and you're like, please.
Okay, we're good.
And that's time.
Yeah, very, very, very solid run. Spins is an absolute phenomenal player. Highly recommend following him and watching him.
Yeah, like Spins runs multiple categories of this game and has great knowledge in all of them. So definitely check them out.
Do y'all have any shout outs you would like to do?
I don't have anything in particular, but thank you, Slucky. I just kind of like hopped in last minute for this because I woke up at a good time. So thank you, Slucky, for having me on as your co-commentator.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you joining me. This made this a lot of fun to commentate. I will say I do have one shout out, and it is the Bomberman 64 speedrunning community. If you think this is a cool run, any percent is very easy to pick up, and the community is absolutely like great about helping people out. They're super nice. Go check it out. Go to the speedrun.com page. You can find the Discord from there. Highly recommend giving this one a try.
Awesome. And where can folks find both of you online?
You can find me at twitch.tv/ZELLLOO. That's 3 L's, 3 O's.
And you can find me at twitch.tv/Slucky, SLUCKY.
Well, thank you so much for that fantastic commentary. Everybody, please stick around. There is a beautiful Radiant Silvergun scoring sword only running coming right up. We'll be right back.